Yeah, me too. I'm over here get a PS3, like expecting all these games to like come out, and I'm like, man, nothing is really. I don't know. I just haven't seen anything really for PS3 right now. Just that it's a Blu-ray player.
It's actually one of the best Blu-ray players on the market. That's really
yeah. That is so funny.
And pretty sure if you don't have an HD TV, you don't even bother to get a PS3 because there's no point you get one if you don't have an HD TV.
Right.
I mean, the PS3 has some games on it though. I mean, there's, Resistance.
I mean, go to Crossfire? No, I don't think so. It's so pretty good in Japan though.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the PS2 is the much better one next year.
Yeah. Like, I know they had the future, I know that.
I feel like there's all coming out for it, so I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Probably you did.
So what you're saying is the PS3 is a good system, except it's still selling off future promise, even though we've had this thing for a year now, and it's still just an ominous black Spider-Man 3 logo box.
You know what?
It's true.
I agree.
It's the monolith, which anyone who touches it becomes smart. Because they're smart, they realize that they can't do anything with it.
Yeah, and then all the game developers, like, it's hard to make games on the Blu-ray, so that's why they moved to the, 360 or, whatever. It's harder to make a game on, Blu-ray. And it costs a lot more money to put it on Blu-ray.
Yep.
I mean, the PS2 sold pretty bad at the beginning of the launch. And now it's a high sell system.
Which is still.
The other question I want to ask later, but the PS2 completely dominated last generation. I mean, more than 120 million units ever sold. It was more than every console before that. Pretty much added.
Yeah.
Do we ever think we're going to see that again? Or not?
Probably not, because the number one, it costs so much. Now you're not going to pay $600 or whatever it costs now for a system, really has any games for it. The only reason why you would probably get the game, system itself, will be more than just games itself. That's what I think. For a Blu-ray.
If it dropped to say $200.
Yeah.
I'm not going to issue it. Still, you see it ever hitting that. I don't. I mean, you kind of
you never know in the future at all. You never know. I mean, things can change. There's a lot of things in the gaming industry that nobody ever thought was going to happen. And the PS3 might drop price one day, like in 5 years. The PS2 first came out at $300, and now it's expensive back now. So.
Well, I mean, it's Sony. They're like, oh, by the way, you have to buy our stuff eventually.
Yeah.
So they almost, they're just going to let it
and it's already dropped in price now.
I have a question for you guys.
It's not going to, I mean, I think the 5 years is probably not fun.
5 years will eBay.
Yeah.
I just find it funny that people was fighting all over the system when it was on launch, and then now it's
They were all trying to sell it on eBay, and then it's like, oh, no one wants it.
What do you guys think about the future of online distribution? I mean, I have all 3 systems myself. Nintendo has been slow to start out. They have the WiiWare thing, which is pretty cool.
Right.
360's got the XNA, which is interesting. But that size limit, the 50 megabytes and then 150 megabytes, because Bionic Kinetic comes out, and now it's 350 megabytes. So Street Fighter, Street Fighter HD can come out.
Yeah.
And Sony from the outset has said, you know what, they're releasing Warhawk, full download.
It's a great game.
It's fantastic. I love Warhawk. I'm on there almost nightly. But I mean, what do you see about the future of online distribution? Games directly downloaded, get rid of brick and mortar stores. Complete digital distribution. I mean, Sony seems to me that they're 3-4 years ahead of everyone else. Despite the fact that they did not have Xbox Live, they've actually, I think, kind of stepped over Microsoft in that regard. Any comments on that?
Are you talking about the future?
Yeah, the future. When you think about 5 years, I mean, sure, Microsoft brags that they have Xbox Live, which is great. It's wonderful.
Xbox Live is fantastic.
It's fantastic. I love it. It's worth the $50 I spend a year, But I look at what Sony's doing, and they don't have that full comprehensive thing in Xbox Live, but they, more so than any other publisher, have allowed for online distribution of games. I mean, the games I've downloaded from PSN, whether it's Echo Chrome or Loco Roco or Everyday Shooter, I play those games more often than I think any other games I have in my system, whether PS3, 360, download, or disc-based. Doesn't matter. I play every shooter for like an hour every day, minimum. What do you think of that as a feature? And then Sony being so proactive in that. I mean, do you think does that have an edge in the long run?
Maybe in the long run, I think that'll definitely be like a good help for the PS3. But I would say like for at least like this year, like they don't seem to be as good as Microsoft is offering online. So
I think that you're pointing out the key things that might be more important. I mean, in the sense that they don't have a size limit, and they do for the most part. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's actually more publishers involved, but from what I've heard is that they have less barriers to entry. They're more willing to allow people to publish games on PSN Network than say Microsoft, where that's a lot more rigorous testing and approval process. I mean, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but. And you're right, in the future it might be keys.
Well, unfortunately, that's what everyone keeps saying about the PS3, if you notice the first point. In the future, I mean, doesn't that kind of...
Like you see the case of the Spider-Man on
Isn't that a problem with everything that Sony always does? They always try to move the bar forward, and then either the world follows them or it doesn't, then they take massive losses on it.
Oh, the bar's been forward for a while now.
Although, in the PC world,
and just to add to that online distribution, I believe that because I do use my Xbox Live and I do use Steam on PC, and it's just much more affordable and much more convenient to do online. Yeah, which is easily well done. To be honest, with my opinion, what is going to happen in the future, I believe that eventually the online distribution will grow to where they would more users will use it than going outside their house to go buy the game, maybe go out to buy a special edition of the game, but mostly stay inside the house and do the online distribution. And I believe that's going to be the future, and it's going to be interesting how the developers and publishers are going to use that to their advantage.
It seems to me that history progresses. It's going to come to the point. We already have movie rentals where we don't need to leave our house. Eventually it's just going to be streamed right into the TV. It seems to me that the whole idea of going out to the movie theaters to watch a new movie or going out to a video game store to buy a new video game seems to be ultimately going to be a thing of the past. When it happens, nobody really knows. But I think that's the progression that things are going in. Total digital distribution. The fact that you can check out a library book by click, 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 and all of a sudden the book is on your PDA thing. Some Star Trek, thing where you just have all the information you need right in the palm of your hand. Knowing that's the ultimate trend, I think what Sony's doing is pretty brave. I think you come and either Sony goes well and when they succeed, they go well and when they fall flat in their face and they lose a ton of money. But I think at least that should be respected.
It's always good to try something. I mean, some things work, sometimes some things don't.
I mean, probably one thing that worked is Blu-ray 1. I think it's
Blu-ray sure works.
But the fact that Microsoft wants to move to Blu-ray now, and support Blu-ray now, that's saying a lot.
I mean,
Early adopters, horrible.
No, but as you point out, you mentioned Steam, and I mean, you've kind of seen in the PC world, digital distribution has almost completely taken over. I mean, most people buy their games through Steam now, or they play online games with microtransactions, or one of the above, or downloadable content. I mean, you rarely go to a Target or a GameStop and buy a PC game.
Except you're buying Warcraft. Warcraft and Sims.
And that's
Warcraft 2.
And people have been talking about this a lot online lately because a lot of the the numbers that track sales and retail sales of games, they only track retail sales. They don't track online distribution sales right now. So a lot of people are saying, "Oh, PC gaming is dying," and it's like, well, it could be, it couldn't be. The problem is a lot of the sales now are happening online where they're not being tracked, and so no one knows. And I think it could go both ways, but it's definitely showing that in that field, people have almost completely moved to that. I mean,
Nothing new.
no, that's true. It's nothing new, but I mean, Steam, other things like that have definitely streamlined it. Today most people will buy a brand new game day and day release online instead of going out to the store, at least in the physical field.
Well, I'd like to say that, the only reason I don't go to a brick and mortar store to go buy PC games is because GameStop and EB Games, they simply don't stock PC games.
Yeah,
Oh,
true, very true.
Same thing now, anyway.
Yeah.
GameStop bought EB, so.
Right.
GameStop has just about everything.
But I would rather have physical games because, when it comes to Nintendo Wii games, if I download
if I download like Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time on my book.